Hello guys and welcome to a little bit of a different video. Today I'm kind of discussing, well, what would you guys like me to do in iRacing? Because recently I've kind of hit a bit of a point really where, so you can see I started iRacing, you start out on 1350 as we know. I got up to about 2000 iRating and then I found that I'd like to get a bit better. So I turned on the driving line to see if I could try and get the hang of some tracks, and that went pretty well. Got to about 2,500 iRating, and then learnt I couldn't really do much better in the BMW. Then I discovered the SimLab Production Car Challenge, and again went up to about 3,100. At the start of this season, then I started to experiment with new cars, new series, and it went down to 2,600. So I decided, okay, back to the SimLab Production Car Challenge, and through many weeks of doing that, the street stocks and all the rest of it, got it up to about 2,950. It doesn't show it on here because it was between weeks. That was after it went down after the GTE Endurance Series race I did, so it peaked at 2960, that kind of thing. But it's kind of been around 2,800. But the thing I've been wondering is, I've always been, obviously, as you can see here, where it kind of stalled out at 2,500. And if you've noticed the GTE Endurance Series races I do, or the Dallara IR1 race I did a couple of weeks back, some of the fixed Ferrari races I do, I'm never on pace with my iRating. My iRating says one thing, and my pace says quite a different thing. And it's kind of been a bit of a problem. So take, for example, the production car challenge. So round Summit Point, I was one of the quickest in the Mazda. So I kept winning. I think I won at least one race, and I was on the podium a lot. Alton Park, I wasn't really on pace with my iRating, but because of some lower iRating people in the field, I managed to keep pace. So that's how my iRating has stayed stable. But as soon as I jump into fix Ferrari at Summit Point or Daytona or wherever, it instantly goes down. And I've kind of been thinking about what to do next season in iRacing and from now, and kind of come to a bit of a point. I want to see if you guys agree or if there's something else that I could do on iRacing. So go to the VRS GT Sprint series. I bought the Audi because it is at the moment anyway, the best GT3 car in terms of performance. I actually quite like the handling of it. Everyone says it tries to kill you, but I haven't had an awful lot of problems controlling it. I've had a little bit of problem turning into a corner with off throttle, throttle off oversteer. That has been lift off oversteer. That's what it's called, isn't it? There's a bit of an issue with that, but I've not found it as bad as some people have said. But you know. Anyway, so I've been doing this week. I've done 2 races at Imola. Now, the first one went absolutely awful. I started the race, I qualified right towards the back, and an Audi span off to the right. I went left, and someone else hit that Audi, which veered it into my path, and there's nothing I can do. I tried to avoid it, and someone else moved it. They didn't move, someone else moved it by crashing into them. So I ended up finishing a lap down, all the rest of it, losing quite a bit of safety rating as well, but not as bad as the next race. I did another race then, later that day, and in terms of pace, again, I'm qualified at the back. I got away without incident, but even without incident, my pace, as you can see, 1 minute 44.1. I have improved that slightly now. My best lap on full fuel round Imola is like a 1 minute 43.9.8. But you can see it's not really competitive. My best ever qualifying time is about 1 minute 43.5, just. And you can see in this split of my iRating, that's not competitive. And to get to that level, into those 1 minute 43s, I've had to do 2 races and hours of practice. Like, I jumped into a race at Laguna Seca, not a race, sorry, a practice at Laguna Seca, which is where the VRS is next week, and instantly I was doing 1 minute 22s, 23s, even with the driving line turned on. I couldn't really seem to gain an awful lot more. So what I've decided to do, I think anyway, so I've looked at my pace. You can see there a 144.2. I'd say it's a pretty average qualifying performance from me. Say you go down to split 7. This was in a race session when there was 14 splits. I am, if I was doing this split, I would be P15 with that time. With my new and improved time, I'd be P10. And my fastest race lap time, I would be, again, I'd be ahead of all these guys, ahead of all these people still. I'd be about here. Again, P12, P11. That's pretty good. That means I'm right in the fight. Maybe if I got lucky with a split, I could win one sometime. But I'm in the kind of area to have a good race and possibly gain iRating. And then if we go down to, say, split, even split 8, that has about the same strength of field. You could see in qualifying in there, we'd be getting on for the top 10, top 8 even, and that's where I'm competitive, around split 7, split 8. However, I'm currently in split 3, so you can kind of tell where this is going. Do you want me either to keep doing the Sim Lab Production Car Challenge to try and keep my iRating around 2800, or go into the GT3 series that might kill my iRating short term? My iRating will probably drop to about 1800, I suspect. But then as I begin to learn the GT3s and have some fun races, maybe it'll begin to go up a little bit. I don't know. And yeah, also, another thing is why I'm slower in the GT3. I don't really know, but my only theory is that, I think the people who do the GT3 series, they only really do GT racing. So that means that the people they're racing, obviously the way iRating works is it's based on who you race against. And if you're only racing against people who are the same kind of level as you, and that level is 2000 iRating, but if you went into Sim Lab Production Car Challenge, that same standard of driving would be 3000 iRating, because the people who do that series overall are worse. And it only splits 2 or 3 times. VRS regularly splits 14, 15 times. So far today, 4 p.m, they go 10 times, 6 times, 6 times, 5 times. You're talking much larger split numbers. Last night, it was 12 splits, 14 splits, 16 splits, 15 splits, 14 splits, 12 splits. Really, really high levels of people, high numbers. And I'm just going to guess here. I'm hoping that I click on them, I'll find that they do only do VRS sprints, and we'll just take the guy, I don't know, 2,800 iRating. Let's take car 15 just to make it fair. Bang in the middle. Car 15. Click on him and see what kind of. See, look, you can see here. VRS, 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 VRS. You get the point? So they're only racing against those people. They're only racing against VRS people, whereas I'm not. Let's take another person. Car 22. VRS, VRS, VRS. You can see Ferrari GT Sprint, that is still GT, VRS, VRS. So basically, the point is, my iRating, this is where the argument for per series iRating comes in that you get an iRating per series that you're in, which I think would get too confusing, but it would be alright, because definitely, I think 2000 iRating in VRS is equivalent to 3000 iRating in SimLab Production Car Challenge. Let's take a lower split, see what the people in the lower splits are doing. See if they're just doing VRS, and you can see here, look, they're just doing VRS. They've done one SimLab Production Car Challenge race, but only one. And that was in a Mazda Cup race, actually, so they're not as good. But you can see the sort of people, I was doing 2 minute 12, that's about what I'm doing. They're actually a little bit worse than me, actually, but that's because they are lower split. So what I'm going to do, starting from, now really, I'm just going to do VRS GT Sprint on the road side of iRacing. I'm going to keep doing the street stocks on the oval side of iRacing. I'm also going to mix in a little bit of dirt oval and dirt road, so it won't be boring content on the channel. It'll just be GTE Endurance Series and VRS Sprint. And I'm really hoping that will get my iRating down low to around 1800, 1900, where I can have some proper nice competitive racing, and from there start to build the iRating back up again as I learn the Audi, learn more racecraft, get lots of practice. Around Imola, towards the end of the week, my pace has been starting. It started off around the 1500 iRating mark, my pace, and by the end of the week now, I'd say it's around 2200 iRating. You know what? Let's just grab it as a rough. So the way I determine iRating pace is you need to be in the top half of the split. So that's P15 in VRS sprint. You need to be P15 or higher to in qualifying to determine that's what your iRating pace is. So you can see not split 3. But then if we go down here, look, it's a split 4, it's not too bad. But then split 5, you can see there, P15, 143.9. I'm capable of that now. So you can see my rough pace is between 2400 iRating and 2150 iRating. That's what my pace is between. So you can see a rough 2200. So it's improved. So I could definitely keep my iRating above 2000. That's the aim for me. I want to keep it above 2000. The bare minimum I want in terms of iRating is 1700. I don't really want it to drop any lower than that. I've seen teams on the forums, that's kind of their cut-off point for drivers. On not Discord, what am I on about? On the 5 Hours of Zolder, the iRacing cut-off for that is 1600. In terms of average ratings, anything under about 1750, I think under that is a lot more average than anything over 1750. The average, I think, is about 1500 on iRacing. So anything above that is quite good. And then above 2500, there's a big gap. It suddenly jumps from like top 30% to like top 10%. But anyway, I hope you guys really enjoyed this little video. It's quite a random, just chatty video. But I hope that you guys kind of understand in terms of I'll be doing GT Sprint more, and my iRating will probably fall. So I hope you guys really enjoy this video. Bit boring, bit talky, but let me know your thoughts down below. Bye-bye!